It is 9:57 a.m. and I had three trades with INND, and just like GTII, they all wow, those trend lines need to be removed. That was from the other day. It just did not work out, unfortunately, and it really sucks. But that's totally fine. I tried it. Maybe this is a dumb feeling, but it actually got to the point where I don't feel so rough anymore getting losses because I know I did my best and the setup could work out a lot of the times. It just didn't have to work out this time, and that's what it was. I did try, so it looked like a morning panic bounce play and everything, but to summarize it, this thing doesn't really have like a nice daily chart. It's been selling off pretty significantly, especially today. There's a lot of volume just being dumped, and it just seems like to be the case. It just has too many people dumping their shares at the bid, but at the time when I first tried it and everything, it was still looking like it was going to be a potential setup. I think the one thing I did right with this one was that I was very quick on getting out because a few of these trades, the first two, if I just wanted to be, hard-headed and not sell a position, that would have been pretty bad. At 9:35, I did buy 15,000 shares at 11. Right here when it looked like it was trying to turn around at 9:35, and then I did get out very quickly because a very large seller showed up at the ask with I think 1 or 2 or 3 million shares, and I did get out of it very quickly the same minute at 10.8. So I had a buy here, and then I sold at 10.8, and that was pretty much it. It continued to downtrend. I did try again at 10.7, and that was at 9:37 right here. 10.7 at 9:37. I tried again right here, and this one did not work out either because another big seller showed up at the ask. I was very picky on what it could have been in terms of a reversal, and when I see something that just shows the slightest indication that it's not going to be that point, I got out. So I did leave the position at 104 right around here at the same minute because that large seller showed up at the ask. And then I was watching this very, very, very carefully, but I never tried to trade it until it looked like it was trying to break past VWAP. And on top of that, it was like a resistance level here at 105. I did buy 15,000 shares at 106 at 956 right here. And it didn't work. I wanted it to immediately start to work and turn around and break above the level and continue the uptrend. Too many sellers at the ask ultimately, and too many people started to dump their shares at the bid that just got slightly higher at 105. And at that point, I got out the same, no, actually the next minute at 957 right here. I got out at, it wasn't the same price, 106, it was at 105 and a half, so just a half section, a very small amount. But yeah, none of these setups have worked out, and I don't think I want to trade this. I just want to see it though if it can bounce at all because of how sad it looks. But I think it could try to do something eventually. I probably won't trade it again just because of the fact I've had three tries and all of them failed, and it just makes me less likely interested in putting more money into a setup like this. I'll make an update later, but yeah, three failed attempts for a reversal right here. Maybe what I could have done is not even have traded the first two setups because it was following this downtrending trend line. And then, I could have tried that one that I did here, which was fine. Maybe that could have helped me have been, I guess not lose as much, but I think they were good lessons, and I'll make an update later. Okay, it is 11:26 a.m. and I want to go over, I think it's going to be the last trade with INND, and this was only 1,000 shares, so I traded a very tiny, right, just a tiny $10 position, and I just thought that it would do two things. Number one, it would either break the day low, or number two, it would break officially past this 10:06 range and maybe get to the 11 to get even higher. And I'll make an update when the market is closed to see what it does ultimately. I did buy just 1,000 shares at 106 at 10.10 with that thing in mind, and maybe this is the way I should trade. Perhaps the other ones, or at least any after the downtrending trend line, the big one right here has broken with the max volume candle and everything right here. This could have been something where it would have sucked to just hold through this choppy, ugly price action, but it's going to do two things. It's going to break the day low, or in this case, it gets above that 105 level and it continues the uptrend. I bought Again, 1,000 shares at 10.10, which was right here at this 106 level. And yeah, I eventually sold it at 10.44 because at this point I wasn't really looking at the setup that much, and it was just 1,000 shares. But I mean, in theory, I sold for a profit because I sold it at 107, so that was 10 whopping pennies. But now it looks like it might even try to uptrend some more and try to get to the 11 level. So that will be something I'll be watch. Excuse me, that will be something I'll be watching. And yeah, this could be one of those type of things where maybe, after the big downtrending trend line is out and everything, I can try not to get thrown off by the choppy, ugly price action, the people on the level two and how much size they have, and I can just, clear my mind and just focus on those two different things that it can do. And then at that point, I can be able to be more profitable or not have like a bunch of little tiny paper cut trades that could burn somebody out pretty quickly. I think that's pretty much it for right now. GTII did do a bounce. Didn't want to trade it because yesterday it had a really ugly downtrend and it didn't bounce at all. And you can tell before it bounced, it had this little wick right here, which, is pretty spooky looking. It did turn around, but again, not even that nice. I mean, best case you're in at 132. You still at the tippy top. If you buy 100 shares, okay, that's $10. But I mean, that's best case scenario. That is not really that nice in terms of opportunity. So I'll make an update to see what INND does at the market close. I don't think I'm going to trade anything else. I have a bunch of other things I need to start working on. Okay, it is 5:36 p.m. and I am here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be down on the day, $8.50, and that sucks. Essentially, it's just now 2 days in a row losing about $8 because I tried an OTC that just did not bounce. It just kept downtrending, but what was the thing that I was missing out on was that a lot of OTCs would have drops, and then even though it would still be under a downtrending trend line, it would show like the slightest indication that it's going to turn around, and then it would immediately start to turn around and trade with a wide spread, and I would miss out on the setup. Now it seems like these things are actually just dropping, and they're not going to turn around until the trend line breaks. At least that's what it's been like with the last two trades with GTII yesterday, one stock and then the other one, this one, INND. It eventually did break past the trend line, and that's when it started to turn around over a longer period of time. And I think the lesson is that this is where I can get 15,000 shares, have a proper risk level, and then just not give a crap about the stupid, ugly price action that it has, the spread, the way it goes bipolar one direction and then it goes the other one. It's just all ugly and everything. Just to keep the thing in mind that it's going to either break the day low or it's going to break the resistance level, usually VWAP, although in this case VWAP was kind of already in the range. It did get as high as, I guess 11 and a half would have been the ideal level, at least following this line right here. Let's just see what it would have been like. Best case scenario, you're in at 101 and now at 11.5. Let's just see what that would be. This will be fine. And then 11.5. Not so nice. That best case scenario, you know, best case scenario 13%. So maybe I was just picking an ugly stock to trade altogether because it didn't even offer that much in terms of percent difference. And then it would also trade with like a spread right here. Yeah, that just really sucks. But hey, lessons were learned, and it's still good experience. And I only lost $8. It's not like I lost $100 or something like that. And I might consider actually sizing up next week, even though I just had these two red days, because that was just kind of like bad luck to have that back and forth and just absolutely not work out. Besides that last trade where I just traded 1,000 shares of experiment, that's pretty much it. Nothing with GTII. Didn't want to mess with this one after I had that ugly day the other day. This ugly wick right here, and it just didn't bounce very nicely at all. No interest with TXTM, but I will be interested if it has like a big panic with a lot of volume. That could be a great dip buy. Nothing with ILUS. It looks like it's trying to turn around and break past this 98 level. I guess the goal will be for it to get above a penny, but I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of overhead resistance. It would have to have like really good news or something like that. And I was watching OWUV because it did have a spike later in the day, and I was watching for the downtrend for a bull flag, but it did start to trade with like an ugly spread and the volume dried up, so there wasn't really anything that I was interested in with this stock to put any money in. That's it for today, and that's it for this week. Sure, it sucks to have lost money, but I don't feel as bad as I have before. I learned a lot from it, and I just had to keep going. And I might be more hesitant on considering dip buys because a lot of these don't seem to really bounce unless it happens to break the downtrending trend line, and then it might try to do something. That's all for today.